Hello there beautiful humans, I'm RidersDX and today we're going to talk about one of the most perplexing Nintendo games to have ever gone announced. In fact, I would say it's low-key embarrassing. And so, on June 1st, Nintendo of America tweeted out from their account that Everybody 1-2 Switch will be coming to the Nintendo Switch on June 30th. For those of you not familiar, Everybody 1-2 Switch is a sequel to the original 1-2 Switch, which came out in 2017. It's basically the Nintendo Switch's like equivalent to Wii Sports, where you're using the Joy-Cons to like do all these different mini games and such. Basically a very casual gamers kind of game. And unlike Wii Sports, however, it was very much not received well, and really people just kind of thought it was going to be on the back burner for the rest of eternity. It currently has a Metacritic score of 58 out of 100, which doesn't seem that bad, but think about the fact that this is Nintendo who just released Tears of the Kingdom, so this is pretty bad for Nintendo standards. So when this game got announced as a sequel to that game, people were absolutely shell-shocked because the biggest question was basically why? Some of the tweets that came out of this announcement were pretty hilarious in particular. Are you off your meds again, Nintendo? Literally no one liked the first game, yet you actually decided to make a sequel? Why? What the f***? LMAO, but why? What do you mean Nintendo gave 1-2 Switch a sequel?
Let's go for a walk, pal.
So I think that the discourse around this game is pretty entertaining, if I'm being totally real with you all, because it's such an inoffensive game. It's just a silly minigame collection meant to really like real and casual players, which Nintendo Switch has a pretty decent player base of. I mean, it's nowhere near as big as it was during the Nintendo Wii days, but the Nintendo Switch has sold a lot of copies. And a lot of those people are just like casual people that just want like a fun party game to play with friends when they're over. And so from that perspective, I can kind of see why they decided to make a sequel to 1-2 Switch, especially because it doesn't really seem like a game that takes a lot of work to make. Doesn't really seem like something you need to spend years on in development like you did with like Tears of the Kingdom, for instance. Just seems like a nice little cash grab to like make some revenue and just give people more options to do when they have friends over and they want to pull out the Switch. But I'm actually going to go ahead and contradict what I said about the embarrassing aspect, because if you think about it, there's actually some pretty good reasons why Nintendo is making this game. But by far the biggest reason I would say is that 1-2 Switch actually sold pretty well. So it was reported that by April of 2017, that 1-2 Switch had shipped nearly 1 million copies worldwide, and by June 2019, the total sales reached 3 million copies. The most recent number says that in 2022, 1-2 Switch had sold 3.63 million copies. And that actually puts it as one of the best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch. What I thought was really interesting is that a lot of people were saying why there wasn't an ARMS sequel in particular. And while I can't say whether or not an ARMS sequel is coming, I will say in terms of the financial numbers, ARMS only sold 2.66 million copies, which is still a pretty decent amount, but compared to the 3.63 million 1-2 Switch, and the fact that 1-2 Switch is probably like a less lower budget game to make, it really does make a whole lot of sense why Nintendo is making this game and why it's a thing, honestly. I mean, yes, it does seem kind of embarrassing because it's such a pathetic like stain on Nintendo's really stellar game catalog otherwise. I mean, I know there's a lot of like mediocre games out there, but 1-2 Switch just kind of seems like something that, you know, a throwaway like publisher company that doesn't really have much to it would make for some easy money. It just seems like a game that is below what Nintendo has established itself as at this point, but the numbers don't lie. If the game is selling well and Nintendo makes money off of it, then what reason do they have to not make something like this, especially because it doesn't really seem like a high maintenance game, and plus they have a horse on the cover now, so you can't really complain. But I mean, come on, you've got Tears of the Kingdom, you got Pikmin 3, and now we got Everyone 1-2 Switch. I mean, Nintendo is definitely killing it this year, you know, all these like big hard-hitting titles that people have been begging for years and years. It's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. Before I sign off on things, a shout out to Corvette Tyrant 115 who commented this on my last video. Honestly, they should do more remakes or remasters. Nostalgia is a major factor for many, including me. I bought Rehydrated on just about every platform I have, so I could keep going down memory lane. I did not do the same for Cosmic Shake. I hope they could make a new innovating game down the line, but for now, they should do the remakes/remasters that were promised back in 2018. So this is from my last video where I talked about the fact that Cosmic Shake was actually not selling well. And I would say that like while there's like a nostalgia factor, remakes and remasters that we could still get, there is no game in the Nickelodeon/SpongeBob catalog that has nearly as much pull as Battle for Bikini Bottom did. So I can understand why THQ Nordic hasn't really done anything else beyond Battle for Bikini Bottom, but at the same time, you did make that deal. You did promise that there were gonna be more Nickelodeon games down the line. So like, where are they? Where are they? So I can kind of see where you're coming from at the same time, man. I think you do make some good points, but remasters and remakes do sell, and I can totally see Nintendo doing some more remakes and remasters down the line too. I mean, reportedly they have some Legend of Zelda ones back in their bank ready to go, so hopefully we'll hear more about that in the future. But I mean, hey, we got everybody 1-2 Switch at least, so who really needs anything else, am I right? But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this news in the comment section below. Are you excited for this game? Are you not? Let me know why not, and let me know what other Nintendo rich things you love me to talk about, because yeah, Nintendo is definitely very interesting this year. There's definitely been a lot of really cool stuff about them, but there's also been some like controversies that I have some interesting opinions about. So yeah, thank you all so much. This is Riders, riding out.